Michael, are you set? Are you in the?
I'm in the zone right now. I'm set.
You're in the zone, man.
I'm set, man.
That sounds great. he's in first gear, ready to jump to third.
I'm in granny gear right now.
Granny gear. Don't get caught in the low spot. Jam it in granny gear. All right, y'all, welcome into Western Edge Cellars. My name is Stephen K. Morris. This is the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. We appreciate all our listeners out there on KFan 107.9 FM and TexasRebelRadio.com. We also appreciate the listeners that are hanging out right here at Western Edge tonight. Looking forward to hearing some original music. For those of you that don't know what this show is about, it's all about the songwriter, the words and music that they've put together to present a song and story, and you never know what you'll have. Each week I invite a different guest from all over the map, and this week I'm tickled to have Mr. Michael O'Connor in the house. Michael,
hey, Stephen.
How you doing, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you for being here. We were just down the road at the same festival last weekend, and Corpus Christi Songwriters Festival.
They're doing great things down there. That's my hometown, you know. That's where I was from.
That's hometown. I thought you were close to home.
Yeah.
Did you stay many years in Corpus Christi?
Yeah, probably too long, but I did stay there for many years. Yeah.
Did you?
You know, like most kids, though, when I started playing music, I tried to get to Austin as quick as I could, you know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was fun to be in Corpus, and I have to give Jimmy Wilden and those guys kudos. This is their third year, and I've been there twice. This year, it seemed like they really kicked it into gear.
They're doing fantastic stuff.
They had a fantastic lineup. They're featuring songwriters, which we like, being songwriters, and their attendance is growing, and they're marketing that thing really well, and they seem to have a great community support for it.
And we all get to be in the same place at the same time and see each other and hang out, and that was really cool.
That's
for all
the
of us
bonus,
too.
like hanging out with all the guys that are playing somewhere else the same weekend we're playing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So to be
We're
together,
always scattered everywhere.
That's
know?
right. Yeah. We get to sit around and trade ideas and laugh at each other, and
exactly.
Or with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you made your way up here to Fredericksburg, and you have played Fredericksburg in the past. And
many times with many folks over the years, sure.
Yeah. Well, Michael, these days you're living in Colorado.
I live in Denver, Colorado now, yeah.
Yeah, has that been 2 years yet? Or
it's been about 7 years now, I think.
7 years? I'm way off.
Time goes by fast, yeah. I have to think about it myself, too, though.
Yeah, I didn't realize that much time had gone by. And you had been home-based in Austin, like you said. You moved up from Corpus. And so Austin was home for how many years?
Well, I lived in Wimberley and New Braunfels and all around, for years and years and years, and then back and forth, and just everywhere, man.
Yeah,
everywhere.
You networked yourself into some great acts as a side guy for many years, and some names that a lot of our listeners know: Wylie Hubbard, Slaid Cleaves, Adam Carroll, Susan Gibson.
Yeah, lots of. And I sat down one day, and a while back, as you get older, you start doing these kind of things. I sat down and tried to write down every band I had been in and side band in, and it was a legal pad, 2 columns front and back by the time and I'm sure I forgot some of them over the years.
Yeah, I bet.
Lots of folks, yeah. I've been really lucky to have a lot of friends, and Slaid and Ray and all those guys. It was great. It's great to work with them, but they're like family and stuff too, so it's really neat, yeah.
Right. I've never been the side guy. I'm not proficient enough in the lead playing or anything like that. I've played with different groups, but generally, mostly as a songwriter and being the front man. And I've always heard that being a side guy in the band brings you to speed really quick on performance and getting into the music and filling a spot that's valuable.
For sure, yeah. You don't get asked back. So you want to get asked back is the thing. And growing up in Corpus Christi, I worked with Mike Guetta and Dave Crawford, a lot of musicians that were a few years older than me. And we played full-time. I quit my day job when I was 19. It would have been in 1987 or 6 or something like that. So we played rock and roll music and country music and jazz music and Tejano music. We had to play everything in different bands. We'd be the same musicians and just go to another bar and play country music
Put a
over
different
there.
act on
Yeah,
it,
exactly. just to stay busy. And we did stay busy. So that did help me when I started sidemanning with these guys. As I could play a lot of different styles. Not a master by any means, but a jack of all a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah.
As a kid, how early were you playing an instrument?
I started when I was 13 years old, and I went, like I said, I went professional when I was 19 years
19
old.
At that point. Was guitar your first instrument?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was 8. I'd convinced myself I was a guitar player for about 5 years before I actually had a guitar. I was a guitar player, playing my tennis racket and listening to records and just being ate up with music till I finally got my hands on a guitar. And I took off on it pretty quick. I think just kind of visualizing it and like really wanting to do it. By the time I got my hands on one, I was kind of ready to do it.
So you had a lot of the motions ready to go with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you a tennis player? You mentioned the tennis racket?
No.
Okay.
That's what my tennis racket
was. It was either the broom or the tennis
exactly,
racket, right?
Exactly.
So I only asked because I was a tennis player.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you played tennis. But as music took over, I went away from the tennis racket to a guitar, literally. So,
that's what happens.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're here, Michael, and I think the best way to introduce some music is, before we talk too far, is just to get you to play a song if you're ready. And,
I'd love to.
This is Mr. Michael O'Connor, y'all. Thanks for being here at Western Edge tonight.
This is one I wrote with my friend Adam Carroll. Me and Adam have written 20 or 30 something songs together, and we got his wife Chris to help with this one because we needed something in French. So she was able to write a French line for us.
All right.
Send this out to them tonight. Feel like the king in New Orleans if I could keep the rain off my head. I used to be the man down here, now I'm looking for a bed. Good times come to an end and wash on down the street, taking everything that we threw away, all we tried to keep. Ghost out on Market Street might have led this railroad down. If I hadn't missed the bus, I'd already be in town, singing one for Madeline, Matilda, you never can tell. I made my way across the Pontchartrain to fetch my mademoiselle. Sunsets in Rosedale like none I'd ever seen. Push my luck in Mobile, a hole in the pocket of my jeans. It's been a long time since I held my head up high. Town to town I'm a stranger, hardly getting by. Well, I lost my horn down the road a ways to the so-called friends of mine. If I can shake it off and make good time, I'll be dancing with Caroline. A spark in the night I keep alive, ain't ever gonna let it die. Je t'aime fille, lumière de ma vie, they take me back every time. Ever since I ate your fried chicken, baby, in the parking lot of that old motel, Crescent City angels got me under their spell. I did my fair share of running round, you know I did, Lord, but it never rang my bell. Crescent City angels got me under this spell. Thank y'all very much.
Very nice. That's Mr. Michael O'Connor, y'all. You can look him up online at mocmusic.com.
That's me, yeah.
Yeah, I think I got that right. And that's a good spot to find out more about you. We're going to keep talking Michael O'Connor facts here and
right.
see what we can dig up.
See what I can remember.
Yeah. So, Michael, you've been on the road down here in Texas for a couple weeks, and you're actually heading back out of Austin to Colorado this week, and you're going back to the winter up there, I guess.
Yeah, we've had a lot of snow. It's been beautiful. I'm teaching some classes there. It's actually called Texas Songwriter Ensemble at the Swallow Hill Music School there in Denver. And we go for 8-week sessions. They're adults that can already play music. I turn them into a band, and I teach them a set that you would play at Lukenbach, Texas or something, all the great Texas songs. And then at the end of that 8 weeks, they go play a gig, you know.
Oh, very cool.
So I've been doing that for about a year now, different classes, and it's been a lot of fun.
I'm sure that's fun to be on that side of the craft a little bit. And
I get to be the bass player, too, which is awesome, because there's so many guitar players in the class. I have guitars and dobros and mandos, so I get to play bass, which is fun for me to be the bass player. You know?
Yeah.
That's a promotion, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Bass players are all the time a hot commodity.
Yeah.
You know, if you can play bass well, it will keep you busy. And,
it's a promotion in the band for sure, I think. Yeah.
I know in our small region here in Fredericksburg, we're always fighting over the bass guys,
Yeah.
you know.
Who's getting Donnie Price this weekend?
You know exactly who one of them is anyway.
That's right.
Donnie wanders through every once in a while, and we
Love
try
Donnie.
to warn people, but
Here he comes, watch out.
yeah. Donnie's a good one, and he's played with a bunch of acts over the years, and he's one of those guys that you can trust to jump in and find a good sweet spot on the bass.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah.
So when you're writing, Michael, I ask this to a lot of writers because our listeners are interested. Your approach with sitting down with paper, is it something you do with the guitar in your lap, or if you do you separately?
I have a thing I do called morning pages, where I get up in the morning when I first wake up, and I'll write 3 pages of just what I call brain drain, just getting everything out of my head, not trying to write a song or even make it spelled correctly. I just write down as fast as I can, and then I leave those in there for a month or so as I go, and I go back and look through those, and then I find ideas. About a page and a half in, I'll use a highlighter and find something, and I start piling those little ideas into piles that kind of fit together, like a scrap pile. Think if you had a scrap pile, and I'll kind of go dig through that, and if I find something, then I'll come up with a musical idea, something I like on the guitar, and then I'll go look through those scraps and see if there's something that kind of fits the theme of what I'm playing musically, and then take off from there.
Right. So it's pretty quick that you'll grab some musical ideas.
Yeah. We got the form helps me write them, you know. Then once I have the form of musically, then if I'm on the road or in the car, I don't have to have the guitar because I know the form of it, and I can just be working on it all the time. Yeah, so it goes to the guitar. If that's what you're asking, it goes to music pretty quick. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess it's an open-ended question there, and I know most of the time it's not exact formula for a lot of us. It's kind of a creative thing that when it hits.
Yeah, like for instance, I'm eavesdropping on this lady right over here, and she's saying some interesting things, and I'll be putting that into a song later. So
yeah, I think we should do that.
I used to live really hard and think I had to live these miserable things to write about. Now I just kind of eavesdrop on everyone else and use that. So.
It's easier on the body and soul that way,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we can take their pain and
that's what I do.
If it's pain or if
or
it's
happiness
cheer.
or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Well, Michael, I'm ready for another song if you're ready to play one.
Man. I'd love to. Sounds wonderful here, too. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Colfax Avenue in Denver, Colorado is the longest street in North America. Sometimes I'll walk around there and just to get ideas for songs. It's kind of where this one came from. That happy hour sun creeps through the dusty blinds off the boulevard into dollars blackened eyes, raking tips off the hustlers in Colfax, Queens, making change for the cigarette machine. Lucky was a sucker for that spray-painted smile, a Jersey pool hall junkie, he couldn't keep a wife. So with the pinball ringing in his ears, Lucky sings his lines, but Dollar never hears. I've been running too long to matter, tired of waiting on the light to change. Rain's washed away every seed I've scattered, running from my wasted days. She says all I need is everything this town ain't. Been skimming the till for 6 months straight. A laughing heart escapes without regrets as the getaway moon casts upon Dollar's silhouette. I've been running too long to matter, tired of waiting on the light to change. Rain's washed away every seed I've scattered, running from my wasted days. I've been running too long to matter, tired of waiting on the light to change. Rain's washed away every seed I've scattered, running from my wasted days. Running from my wasted days. Thank y'all.
Yeah. Mr. Michael O'Connor. We appreciate our listeners here at Western Edge Cellars and also those on KFan 107.9 FM and TexasRevelRadio.com. I want to mention that we have some sponsors that keep this show rolling. One of those is the Tobacco House. They're purveyors of cheap talk and fine tobacco. Right. They got a great walk-in humidor. They're across the street from the Nimitz Museum at 109 South Washington Street. Look them up online at TABAK-HAUS. That's tobacco-house.com. Also, Majesty Wine Tours. When it's time to tour the Texas Hill Country, call Majesty Wine Tours. They'll drive you to drink. And they'll pick you up at your B&B or hotel and get you back safely. You'll go home with an education of the Hill Country and whatever kind of buzz you're looking for. So
that's the way to do that.
That's right. Call Majesty Wine Tours when you're in town. Look them up online, majestywinetours.com. And also, last but not least, is the Texas Silver Rush. They've got finely crafted silver and stone jewelry. Look for the Texas Silver Rush online at thetexassilverrush.com. They decorate the rock stars. They'll make you feel like one yourself. So call them and visit them in town. They support original music. They support the Outsider Songwriter series, and they're good folks at all those shops. So please keep those guys in mind. We sure appreciate them supporting this show.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for letting me interrupt there to do the business end of this show.
We got to keep the lights on, man.
That's right. So, Michael, you're heading back to Colorado. With what you came with, about 7 albums under your belt of your own projects.
Yeah.
And you've been on numerous projects of other folks. You released your most recent this year, I think, or 19.
Came out in November. Hi, Dallas. How are you?
Dallas Allen's in the house.
Yeah, it came out in November of last year. It's called Wasted Days is what it's called. Oh, no, it's not. It's called Burning Midnight. The first song is Wasted Days. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm a little punchy from travel here.
Yeah, you've been on the road a lot. And then your album right before that was co-write, I think, with Adam and Chris Carroll. You played a song earlier with Chris.
Oh, that's on my new one, yeah.
Is that on the new one?
And
you and Adam have had quite the co-writing history together.
10 years ago, we released Hard Times together, which was a big success for both of us, actually. And yeah, I think somewhere in the neighborhood of about 25 or 30 songs we've written together.
Yeah.
That's an easy guy to write songs with, though, you know.
He's a creative dude, and
He'll let you do the heavy lifting, but he is a good guy to write with.
is
man.
that
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I've always enjoyed listening to Adam, and I think he's one of the more. His imagery is so colorful, and his character studies are just incredible. And
beautiful. Yeah.
You can learn a lot as a writer listening to a guy like Adam Carroll.
Yeah, I was really thrilled when he approached me about writing, and it turned into that record, and then ended up writing a lot with him on his last few albums as well. So yeah, it's an honor for sure.
Yeah. You found yourself in the studios with Miss Jenny Finley. You did an Adam Carroll tribute, and I think you performed one of the songs on
that was fun. Yeah, I played on Home Again, and Scott Nolan did another song, and then there was a secret track on there that Adam recorded as a tribute to Lloyd Maines that we did as well. It was really fun to do that.
They're doing good projects over there.
Yeah,
and,
it's a lot of fun.
I just heard that they're working towards doing a tribute for Mr. Walt Wilkins. And
Fantastic.
It's never bad to mention Walt's name. And
I'm glad they're doing these tributes while these guys are still around to enjoy it and be a part of it, rather than waiting to do tributes for people, you know, that aren't here anymore. So yeah, nothing's wrong with Adam or Walt. They're just fine. We're just doing a tribute record to it.
Right. Yeah. And you've been in the studio on your own projects as a writer, but you've been in the studio quite a bit with other guys. And is that something you favor doing, or?
Yeah, I haven't done it as much as I used to, but at last count, I think I was on about 50 different albums by Texans and friends. And yeah. It's kind of the hot seat because you want to do good. I have a project I'm working on with Carolyn Schulman when I get back to Denver next week. But I enjoy that process. Yeah, recording is a lot of fun. Yeah.
And there's a different hat you put on, I think, in the studio.
Agreed.
And I'm sure it takes, just as from doing my couple of projects, there's a red light fever people talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there was a learning curve to get over that.
For sure, yeah.
Or maybe it never quite goes away. I don't know.
Yeah, it's always there. It depends on who you're with, When you're working with Lloyd Maines or Gurf or something, you might be a little intimidated, but those guys are so sweet, they get the best out of you. And then other times you might be recording with someone where you're kind of the one that's helping get it going and you're not in the hot seat as much, But, and some people really send you music so you can be really prepared when you get there, and that's great. Other people don't want you prepared. They just want you to come in there and play fresh with what you hear when they play it for you. And so just different approaches,
I was listening to an interview the other day, and just to be on that side of things, studying, I guess, is what we call it. Yeah. And it was Mary Gaucher, who I admire her writing and performances. And she said her last album, she brought the band in, but didn't give them any pre-prep, didn't even let them have earphones. They had to sit in the room and do it as they did more in the old days with tape. And she said she wanted that rawness and that fragile performance where everybody's having to listen closer. And I guess that's what you're touching on.
Yeah, there's a lot to that. Yeah. It depends on the music, and I think that fits perfect for her music. That's excellent approach. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Very acoustic, very natural, and its personality comes through.
Yeah, real.
Yeah. Can we hear some more of your music, Michael?
Sure, man.
Yeah, I'll give you some reprieve in a minute. Play one.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Mr. Michael O'Connor, y'all.
I kissed a clever little smile goodbye before I hit the road. A girl I used to love who just moved on. Simple mathematics, solve it as you go. Everyone gets their heart broke in Chicago. She stacks the dishes, kids are barely fed, puts a fixed plate in the fridge. Empty as the promise he'd never drink again. He stumbles towards their marriage bed as she counts nights in a row. Everyone gets their heart broke in Chicago. Brick and pavement, mortar, steel and iron beams. Maybe it's the lake that makes this city feel just how it seems. St. Valentine's, compromise when you're feeling weak as foam. Everyone gets their heart broke in Chicago. Everyone gets their heart broke in Chicago. Mother's tears and prayers can't save a boy from Cambridge Avenue. Blood in, blood out, without time for dreams. The police knocking at the door reveal what she already knows. Everyone gets their heart broke in Chicago. Brick and pavement, mortar, steel and iron beams. Maybe it's the leg that makes this city feel just how it seems. St. Valentine's, compromise when you're feeling weak as foam. Everyone gets their heart broke in Chicago. Everyone gets their heart broke in Chicago. She runs these crooked streets so pilgrims at the rattle of the job. Robs her young love, distracted dear. And it's him who found her, frozen face down in the snow. Everyone gets their heart broke in Chicago. Everyone gets their heart broke in Chicago. Well, everyone gets their heart broke in Chicago. Thank you kindly, y'all. Thank you. That's a sad song. It went bad for a lot of people in that song.
Yeah, it sure did. When's the last time you were in Chicago there, my friend?
Well, it's been a few years. It's been a few years, yeah. I like Chicago, but it's getting scarier.
Yeah.
But it is getting scarier lots of places, man. So.
I haven't been to Chicago in 25 years. I used to fly through there to go into Cleveland quite a bit. And Chicago O'Hare can be a scary spot to be itself. Like some airports, it is getting easier in the airports, it seems like. As long as you're not carrying a guitar.
Yeah, that's kind of the part that I feel like I get paid for is the traveling. And I'll play my guitar and sing for nothing.
Right.
But the travel part's the work.
That's always kind of the halfway joke about gigging. You know, you carry in all your stuff, set up your speakers and the gear, and people say, man, it must be great to do what you do. And I said, I love playing. I don't do that for nothing. But
that's true.
The work part is on both ends of the gig. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Michael, I'll throw one in to give you some reprieve there, and then
man.
we'll talk some more about probably your future or history, whatever we want to talk about.
Fantastic.
We have no rules on this show.
I'm excited to hear you.
This is a song I wrote a few years ago. I had this. It's one of those songs that just jumped on me, and I had to stop what I was doing. I live through every day with every day I've ever lived on my mind. I found peace as I fumbled through every moment marked by you and left behind. I've stacked up these memories in a way that seems so fair to me. Memories live on. Memories live here on my mind. Was it all just a trade? The high price I paid to feel this way. I know what it cost and everything I lost in one goodbye. In the blink of an eye, you were gone. I've tried to shake loose these feelings of old and breathing deep, but truth being told, it's hard not to lose to this racing mind. Go back in time. After you were gone, I lived through every day with every day I've ever lived on my mind. I found peace as I fumbled through every moment marked by you and left behind. I've stacked up these memories in a way that seems so fair to me. Memories live on. These memories live here on my mind. Given one more day and one chance to say the way I feel, I'd have to bite my tongue, let it all go numb to avoid the pain. Everything I learned, after you were gone, you were gone. All right. Thank y'all very much. It's called Martha's Song. Yeah, thank you for playing the lead there. And
what's that one called?
Well, it's called You Were Gone, Martha's Song.
Oh,
and
okay.
I didn't know a Martha when I wrote that, but a sweet lady heard it before I'd recorded it, and she said it meant a lot to her in her where she was at in life, and so now it's forever Martha's Song.
Right on.
You know,
Love that.
And I don't name them for a while till I have to.
That's a good approach, really. I heard, and not to drop names because it wasn't a good friend of mine. I met him and stuff, but I heard that Guy Clark would wait and play him out, and then hear what people said play. Whatever they would call it, then sometimes that would educate what he should name the song.
That's a cool idea.
Because sometimes you'll name them and everyone else will call it something else. And you're like, well, I should have called it that.
Might as well call it that. Yeah, it seems like on the other side, as a music fan, that's what you do. You pick up on one line and call it that, whether it's right or wrong.
Should probably be the title, though, right?
Yeah,
if that's what everyone's calling it.
That's what happened on that one, and How about you? I guess you wait around until it's recording time to put titles.
Yeah, sometimes you have to decide then, and other times it's just very obvious what it's called, But
Yeah.
sometimes I wait. Yeah.
Some of the big hooky songs probably.
It's got to be that. Yeah. And I try to keep the titles short too.
Sure.
I don't know why, but I do. But.
I keep choruses short, so it's easy to keep titles short usually.
Yeah, it's a good move. Yeah.
So some of my favorites are like Tom Waits and guys like that. That really, there's not much of chorus in those type of writers' songs, and you do that a lot with some of your songs.
He is one of my favorite of all, though. Yeah, I love him.
Who do you go to get re-inspired when you're kind of on the writing plateaus? Do you go back and listen, or do you get away from listening?
I do. When I'm actually recording and writing, I try not to listen to anything. And even my friends will give me their new record. Hey, did you listen to my new record yet? It's like, nope, I can't.
Not yet.
I will, but I promise, but not right now. And then other times when you don't have the well's just empty and you're not working on anything, then I just listen to everything, man. From Charlie Parker to rock and roll to pop music, old songs I liked when I was a kid, just different things, to stimulate,
I think
but Tom Waits and Townes Van Zandt, those are the guys that the lyrics I look at, and that's kind of the mark. I mean, not that I'm anywhere near there, but that's the mark you look at. Those guys will use a line that someone would have used for the whole idea of their song. They have so many lyrics and so much stuff going on. They'll use that just for one line in a song when someone else like me would have used it for the whole song.
That would have been the whole song, yeah.
So I think that's cool to not be afraid to use a really good idea in a small part because you'll get more ideas. The well's not empty. There's no limit to creativity. We feel like there is, but there really isn't. If you get in the right headspace, there's more stuff coming. So
right.
Use that stuff up rather than try to save it.
Yeah, and I like that thought process and philosophy on it because we do get tired, but usually it's a physical or a peripheral thing that's making us tired, and we feel like the creative juices are slow, and they probably are at some points.
Go for a walk. Quit working so much. It does take time. Luckily, my wife's father was a musician, so that really helped with our marriage because she had been around it a lot.
There you go.
So she understands that when I'm looking out the window, just staring out the window, I'm actually working because I'm daydreaming. That's how you get songs, and so she understands that I'm actually working if I'm just watching movies all day or sitting on the front porch looking at the sky or something. That's work for a songwriter. That's work, right?
One of my favorite college buddies has made he's a college professor now, and when we were in college and I didn't finish, I did 3 years and thought, where am I going? And long story, but he was into media and pop culture, and he's a Native American, so he's into indigenous studies. But he's mixed media and pop culture and all those things and Native American studies.
Awesome.
And his study time was watching Andy Griffith and stuff. And I always thought that was so bizarre until I got further into writing. And I thought, I'm listening and watching everything I can during those spells. Yeah, there is quiet really time, but
you never know where an idea will come from. And like I said, something someone says. Another thing is to always kind of be writing, even if you're just taking notes. Don't think, I'll remember that, because you won't remember it. So you can always be writing down. And the iPhones have been a great thing for us, right? Voice memos.
Just talk it in.
And speaking of Andy Griffith, that's some wonderful writing. It's amazing writing. They're short. They're 30 minutes. They get to the point. They make you feel connected and evolved and laugh. I mean, it's wonderful. It's really good.
Right.
It's good stuff to watch.
I like that stuff. The TV series, like you say, they put so much in, and there's so many characters that are involved in the interlacing.
And they've only got a short time to get there. Right. They have to make it happen. And that's what we should do as songwriters is hurry up and get there, because short songs are what we're looking for. Right.
Yeah, I admire the wordy guys, but I think the trick is actually to get the point across with the least amount of words, and that's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, and I got 3 lines to make all this happen.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like a puzzle, right?
Yeah. So have you been in a writing spell recently, Michael?
I'm kind of filling up the well right now. Yeah, I've written a few that I'm working on, and as soon as my record came out, when I was here doing CD releases, I was already back in the studio with Jack working on some stuff. So Jack Saunders is who I'm talking about. I recorded with him in Houston. The majority of my first record I did with Wylie Hubbard, and then the rest of them I've recorded with Jack Saunders over the years. And I just play all the instruments and sing, and Jack produces and plays bass, and Rick Richards plays drums. That's my formula for all those albums there. And So thank you, Jack and Rick.
Yeah.
But what were we saying again?
Well,
yeah. So a little bit. Yeah, I'm in that process right now of trying to fill the well back up.
Yeah.
And my notebooks are all empty right now. I looked through them the other day, and I robbed all my ideas out of them.
And I was going to say that's probably an unfair question considering you just released your album.
No, it's
in
a
November.
totally fair question. It's a great question,
You know.
and that is what happens. You kind of use everything up, and I really enjoy having that empty blank spot. I don't panic on it. It's like, okay, now I don't have to dig through anything or figure anything out. I can just start over again with filling it up, you know, just filling it up.
Yeah.
And that means watching movies and traveling around and
Yeah.
hanging out with you and all the people in Corpus that we saw and you know, all that.
What a blast. And
Yeah.
Last time I saw you performing, and I was at Kerrville. I think you were up with Walt Wilkins and Susan Gibson, who you've played with both
Thank you,
quite
Dallas,
a
for
bit.
that.
Yeah. And that was a cool show.
A lot of fun. I love those guys.
It was a midweek show, I think, and which is the ones I get to get out to usually and see. And surrounding yourself with those kind of writers, you know, is just
that's a little pressure.
That's where the bar does get set pretty high, you know.
Yeah, both those guys are great.
Yeah.
As a camper, before I performed at Kerrville, I always loved the middle of the week. That was my favorite time to. The weekends are great, but the week was always my favorite shows and favorite time to be on the ranch for sure.
Yeah, those are great times. And well, Michael, I'd love to hear some more music.
All right, cool.
I enjoy the talks, and we could probably do it all night. But
Yeah, we could. We could talk all night.
we want to hear some more Michael O'Connor music.
I hit my stride in Louisiana, where it's hard to tell the daytime from the night. I placed my bets, I saw the faces of the winners and the losers in the light. I dragged my nets off the Widowmaker, up 3 weeks' pay. I got a motel key in New Orleans, sure found a winner of a rundown, low-rent Gulf Coast loser like me. Am I the worst you see? Bernadine, cast a little of your loving down my way. Keep these dice from turning cold, make my hard times shine like gold. Shed a little mercy, Bernadine. Falls hard on the motel window as the night gives in along a Ponce train. I ran with Little Joe, lost all my money, whiskey and salt water running through my veins. Saint Bernadine, please don't forsake me. You're gonna help me find my way. If these hard times don't overtake me, I'll cast my nets into the Galveston Bay. Am I the worst you see, Bernadine? Cast a little of your loving down my way. Keep these dice from turning cold, make my hard times shine like gold. Shed a little mercy, Bernadine. Am I the worst you see? Hey, Bernadine. dance from turning cold. Make my hard time shine like gold. Shed a little mercy, Bernadine. Whoa, shed a little mercy, Bernadine.
Very nice.
Thank y'all. That's the one I wrote with my friend Adam Carroll.
I thought that was. I was going to ask you that. I'm glad you said. Mr. Adam Carroll. And that's Mr. Michael O'Connor, y'all. He's our guest tonight on the Outsiders Songwriter series. And he's traveling back to Colorado, but we're glad we've had him in Texas for a couple weeks again.
It's been wonderful.
Yeah, and I hope your travels are safe heading back home and back to your family. And you mentioned your wife's father was a musician, and that kind of prepared her for knowing you and tolerating. Did you have musicians in the family, your family growing up?
I did. My brother was a drummer, and I started playing when he was still in junior high. He was playing 3 nights a week.
Was he really?
Yeah, too much to my grandmother's chagrin, but she raised us, and so he was playing in the bar. So man, I couldn't wait to get in there and do that. Yeah.
Did y'all play together at
in the
point?
garage and stuff. He was he was 5 years older, so he was a little ahead of me.
Yeah.
But I caught up and passed him up pretty quick as soon as I could. But,
Did he maintain a music career?
Nope. He got married really young and started having babies and got a job and all all the real stuff. Yeah.
So other than that, your brother background behind grandparents? Or,
no, not that I can find. It's interesting. My grandmother's from Arkansas. There might have been some, I remember her talking about her father playing the fiddle and stuff. So if it was, it's in my DNA, but not in my memory or people I've met and stuff. Yeah,
And often for us songwriters, and I know your background originally started with being the side lead instrument, was singing something that came natural, or was that a reach?
I started singing when we had a band and had a gig and didn't have a singer. And then it's like, okay, the bass player had to sing some, I had to sing some, the drummer had to sing some. I'm sure we were terrible, but we needed, we had the job. So
start somewhere.
Yeah, just had to sing. And we were doing, Sea Cruise and Dion and the Rockabilly and old songs,
Well, you got a good grasp on it now, Michael.
Thanks, man. I sing the way I sing, and that's what I finally came to that conclusion as to... I can sing like Michael O'Connor really good. That's about all I can do.
And I like the way you do it.
Thanks, man.
Well, Michael, I appreciate you being on the radio hour of this.
Thank you, Steve.
We have more planned tonight here at Western Edge, and I'm going to get you to do one more if you can on the radio hour. Yeah. And then we'll trade some more songs. Cool. Probably less talk and more music on the second hour. But I don't know. We might just sit here and yammer.
Yeah.
But if you'll do one more, that'd be a fantastic thing for us. Mr. Michael O'Connor, y'all, we appreciate those that are hanging out listening to original music and everything that we do here at Western Edge.
Do this for my old man who couldn't be here tonight. He took me to, Charlie Pride played in the Astrodome at the Fat Stock Show when I was a kid, and my old man wasn't around very much, but when he was around, there was something he made a big splash when he was in town, So he took me to the Astrodome to see Charlie Pride, and I was a little kid, man, and that really had an effect. I'm a big Charlie Pride fan, and my old man was a real rounder, so I wrote this about him. So, thanks for listening, y'all. Gonna get my news from a bottle, spill it on a concrete floor. Should be old enough to know better. I beat a path to the jailhouse door. When I spied Lucky Pete slipping out with Ruby Jane, left me leaning hard into the night, blooded my knuckles where I carved her name. I used to be an able-bodied man, whistling to Charlie Pride. How my pace slid through my hands, cutting time on the old rough side, making time on the old rough side. I never played by the straight and narrow. I couldn't lay that party down. I burned it up like a flaming arrow, buying every other round. Now the voices and the laughter in my ears, I can hear them ring. My head caved in on the courthouse lawn, not a penny to my name. I used to be an able-bodied man, whistling to Charlie Pratt. How my pay slid through my hands, cutting time on the old rough side. I used to be an able-bodied man, whistling to Charlie Pratt. How my pay slid through my hands, cutting time on the old rough side, making time on the old rough side. Thank y'all.
That's Mr. Michael O'Connor, y'all. We appreciate you here at Western Edge and also out there on KFan 107.9 FM and TexasRebelRadio.com. If you haven't been in to see a show live, come on out Wednesday night, 6:30 to 9, and see the songwriters that we bring in. My name's Stephen K. Morris. Make sure you look up Michael online if you're not here with us. You can find his CDs and music at mocmusic.com, and that's Michael O'Connor.
Thank you, man.
Michael, thank you for doing this interview.
Thank you. It's an honor, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man, and my pleasure. So we're going to do more music here in a little while. We're going to take a quick break. For those of you hanging out at Western Edge, Michael brought a bunch of CDs and looks like maybe a bandana if he's willing to give it up. And he's got this store with him, so y'all make sure to take some music home. If you like what you're hearing tonight, you're going to love what he's got with him. So thank y'all for hanging out. Remember, we're a small crowd, but we're mighty. Hey folks, thanks for joining us online to watch the Outsider Songwriter Spotlight Series. That's right, we're taking this thing to a new level. Videos, every guest, every week. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell so you can be notified when we release new material. If you like the show and want to support us, you can tip through Venmo. There's a link below. Check out theoutsidersongwriter.com. That'll be up and coming soon. Thank you for your support over the last 4 years. The show's growing. We've had over 150 guests, and we promise to have a lot of new great songwriter guests. Please continue to share with your friends on your social media accounts. Come on into a show. Join us when you're in Fredericksburg. You can be a part of the live audience. Downtown under the dark of night, somewhere between shadow and light, over the edge of lost and found, you can hear neon, feel sound. Be well, folks. I know we're living in strange times. We'll get through this together. We'll see you soon.